What's shaking, Facebook? Got y'all popping first. Trying to get my phone in order. Oh my gosh, it is so great to be back with you all. What is going on? What is going on? Let me get this over here and then I can get Instagram going. All right. How's everybody doing? Drop where you are watching in from. Those of you who love to connect and stay plugged in deeper, you aren't already in my Buy Me a Coffee community. It's free to follow over there. But that's also where my shop is for all my coaching containers and things like that. So that link is hot and live for you all. I really hope everybody's been doing well. Tis the season that is, well, rough for many individuals during this time. And tonight, we are simply going to mind shift. Get this in here. Okay. 2 different cameras, 2 different levels. Do I have everything going? Turn on subscriptions. Okay. Look at that. All right. Instagram's in the house. Instagram, Facebook. We are now synced up and one. Yo, listen, if you got your journal, if you're somewhere where you can like write, take notes, I highly recommend grab your writing utensils, grab your journal. If you got them, smoke them. We're here to sit back and unwind with one another. And if you've been in this space for any length of time, you know mind shift. You remember a good friend of mine, Becky Lee, used to be here with me. We would tag team, and but that doesn't mean mind shift is dead, simply because she and I are on different schedules and wavelengths right now. There has been some downtime that I needed too as well, but it is time to mind shift. And what better time to get back together on the feeds with one another and converse and, you know, just share and be human than this season. Today especially reminded me, I was having conversations on my business side, that this season is rough in different ways for so many different people. So tonight's theme is going to be on letting go, losing things, evolving identity. Like I said, I am live simultaneously on Facebook and Instagram. These are the times. If you happen to catch this live and you're like, who is this? I'm Erica Perrott. Thanks for joining in. So I asked a question in stories, and we're going to talk about it down here. We're just going to start with this. What if the things you lose are simply things that can't follow you into your next level? I know. No one's saying not to grieve. I'm going to go ahead and preface that there. There's always going to be a grieving process when there's a chapter closing. Because guess what? That version of you that existed before that chapter closed, it's evolving. It's going to be different moving forward. But it's when we honor that. But so often we get hung up in the I lost it or it's gone. So, y'all know me. My life, I just wake up some days and I'm like, oh, so this is what we're doing today. All right, Divine, got it. Let's go, Most High. So a couple weeks ago, I walked into chapter 41, which, by the way, all y'all that have sent DMs, text messages, mwah, 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 I appreciate you. But I walked into chapter 41. Now watch this, y'all. On my fucking birthday, 41st birthday, I lost 2 rings that I have had and worn since I was 14 years old. The rings that was always on this finger. Every now and then I'd interchange it. I'd put it on my ring finger. But they were predominantly on my index finger on my left hand. Since 14. The significance was this was like the last gift that my grandmother Emma, who raised me, y'all has been here for a moment, y'all know Emma, we talk about her all the time. But it was the last cognitive gift that she gave me. And, it just they become a part of me. I kind of forgot they were there, if that makes sense. But this one pair of gloves that I wear, if I take them off a certain way, or if it's just the right amount of cold and my fingers have shrunk, it will sometimes come off in the glove. But on this day, y'all, I don't know where I lost them. Let me put it to you that way. That's how unattached to them at this point I was. Because I could have lost them at the very beginning of my day when I was out running errands. It could have happened in the middle of my day when I was out running errands, taking gloves on and off. But I didn't notice it until 7:30 p.m. that night. I don't have time to retrace Philly to figure it out, nor am I about to. I just got to count it all joy, right? Wish it well. But the irony was, as soon as I realized they wasn't there, and I immediately checked everything on me where they could have possibly been, and they weren't there, my brain expected immediate sadness. Like, I was just set up and ready for this immediate sadness, but it was weird. Y'all want to know why? Y'all, I hit peace instantly. It was like, I saw they were gone. I realized what time it was, and I'm like, you ain't getting me find them. I looked, they weren't here, and I was just like, straight to peace. No sadness at all. Which is highly weird for me because as a fire sign with a water moon, it's crazy. We were built different. We'll be like excited to celebrate something and bawl and crying at the same time. I'm like, what is wrong with y'all? We're fine. We'll be okay. Hell, I've even been in physical altercations before, beating ass, just crying at the same damn time. It's like, why y'all gotta make me do this, right? Like, crazy. We just built that way. So I was expecting it to happen, and it didn't. And I was just like, immediately I was like, bro, you didn't lose those. Their time and assignment with you are done. If you guys are just joining in, welcome. Thanks for being here. Drop something that you've lost recently that has some significance to you. And how did that feel? How did that feel when that happened? And where are you at with it? Are you still feeling some type of way since losing it? But they belong to a version of me that no longer exists. I mean, that was the instant feeling, thought, and knowing. It went deeper than just feeling at peace. It was an instant knowing. Babes, they served you as long as they could. Where you going now? They're not needed. They're not needed. And we don't talk enough about how attachments look like love, but feel like anchors. Yes, loss can hurt and liberate at the same time. But a lot of times we stop at loss can hurt. We don't allow the fact that two completely opposite emotions and ends of the spectrums can be true at the same time about our situation. I saw a reel the other day and I was laughing because I said, that is so true. It even goes down to contradictions. The things that we get upset when we see other people contradicting themselves, honey, that's because you're not leaving space for your own contradictions. We are all one big motherfucking contradiction. Like my favorite, the people who love to be of service, and that is their true drive and passion. But at the end of the day, they can't stand people. They love humanity. They don't like people. They're not antisocial. They're selectively, intentionally sociable, But that's one big ass contradiction. But if you're fighting that contradiction or feeling like, well, if I'm supposed to be of service, or if this thing was mine, then this is the only way it could be. It can't be another way. when we leave space for that duality to honestly set there, and we honestly set with it, we start coming to some realizations and free ourselves of so much. Not just in here, but around us too. Holding on to memorabilia is a great thing, but did you know, or have you ever even allowed yourself to think, how is holding on to this keeping me where I am? Or how is holding on to this getting me to where I'm ready to go? No, I need to be. Sometimes holding on to a version of ourselves we outgrew transforms and manifests in the way of holding on to nostalgic things. It's not a bad thing. It's simply a thing. And Christmas season tends to trigger that longing and nostalgia as well as emptiness. But when we can sit and find that space finally where longing can become sacred and losing can be proof of graduating, that's when we remove all of that baggage and all the things that can't sustain where you're about to go. So, these last couple days since they left, it was funny because I was like, well, I was like, I had that one ring that I just quit wearing because it needs to be on my left hand, and I just don't like it on any other finger but my index finger, but I also wasn't moving those rings. I was like, yes, it's coming back out. So, it was just like so many things started to move and shift, not just in those superficial kind of ways, but it triggered me to honestly sit back and think, hey, Miss Carla, thanks for being here, sister. It's so good to see you in the comments. You are just a breath of fresh air always. But it triggered even just some moments of where I was sitting there and thinking about, oh, wow, damn, that I went through that. When I had those two, it brought up so many different things and allowed me to just look at them in a way that even if there was an inch of something still kind of nestled and tucked away in the tiniest of corners internally, I just was able to, it was kind of like, ha, 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 ha. So, since the day that I lost those, so that was November 30th. So for the last 8 days, every day I have noticed something else that is a little bit lighter. And no, it's not as a result of losing those rings, but because the human mind has to have something to connect it to. It's so crazy since I know, I felt it. This chapter is closed, right? That chapter is done. What sits on your finger or whatever in that place next, it won't be them. Ever since that moment, it's just been really cool to watch what has fell off and what has come up and how it's even come up, like how I feel when it's immediately coming up in my body. Evening, Calvin, what's up? Hey, Charmed over in Instagram. Welcome. But a lot of times that's another place we stop ourselves when the thought comes up, because comes the feelings. And as humans, we have not been taught to sit with anything. We have been taught to work hard, always be on the move, know how to deflect, dodge, and turn. We've been taught all these amazing things that help us survive in a work environment, but we have not been taught and allowed the space to honestly do these things in a self environment. A lot of the strongholds we feel in our professional life all stem from some shit you ain't really set with and resolved in your personal life. And you're only going to get so far until you do. And as we sit in this season, and it's so heavy for so many, I always like to remind people, what gift can you give yourself by letting go? What can you make room for? I know we always joke, especially when it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, because what we got? Good eats, right? I got green beans, beans, potatoes, you name it. Yeah, right? But you can only stack that place so high. And what are you going to have to do before you go back for anything else? Be it seconds or the first to something. Another dish that you didn't have room for. You're going to have to clean your plate. And when we accidentally lose things, or things get destroyed from a situation you couldn't plan, plot, or want to happen, in that moment, I want to remind you, it is okay to be sad. Because listen, I have lost so much over the years due to having the wrong people around me, my own rushing, whatever. And it was things tied to Emma. And I'm going to tell you, it hurt, it crippled, it felt like something was taken from me. And while I could see the perspective of it's done, it served its purpose, I never really resided and got real comfortable in it until a few years ago of, bitch, that shit served its purpose. Because I could find myself, something would come up and I couldn't get past the anger. Even though I was like, oh, what it is. But that wasn't sitting in it. That wasn't embodying it. That wasn't letting duality live. That was saying the right thing, hoping to get to the honest of, it is what it is. Because they're two different energies. One lets you move, and the other is just another wall, another brick, a wall, a possible window that can't nobody fucking get through. Hell, by the time you done creating it with all these excuses, boundaries, judgments, and whatever, you ain't even gonna get back out of it. So, may every release this season be a graduation, not a grief. It is okay to mourn who you once were and who you will never be again. Because whether it was a person you lost, a place, a thing, you're not that person going forward without them. You aren't. You're a different person. And that's okay too. This next era is going to require an uncluttered soul, y'all. So if you're ready for your shifts, my readings, my coaching containers, y'all already know they're open. You can DM me shift and I'll directly send the links to you. If you're on Facebook watching this, the link is up for you. You can just go straight to it. My shop is there on Buy Me a Coffee. If you're in this live, you're going to hear this first here. I learned something new the other day. I was today years old and learned something new about my Buy Me a Coffee space. When you're on my site from an actual website, it's going to pop up, install Creating Waves of Consciousness. Click install, because you're going to have an app directly to my container, which is an expansion on all the things that you guys tap in with, love, and sometimes ask me for, which is how a lot of these things get born. So I hope to see you there. Instagram, all you got to do is comment shift, SHIFT, and the link will be sent directly to you in DMs. If you're watching this and you're not already following me, go ahead and hit that follow button so that when you comment, the DM comes to your actual primary or general folder versus your message request. Same goes for you, Facebook. If you're ever DMing, make sure you follow first. That way your message comes into the main folder and it doesn't get missed. All right, guys, thanks for being here. Drop your, this is going to go live. Facebook, you all have the option. You'll still see everything that was commented during the live. Instagram, we don't get that lucky. I wish they gave us that option, but they don't. So if you have questions, comments, want to share your own story about loss, drop in. I'll see you in the comments section, and I hope you guys have a kick-ass rest of your night. Next week, right here, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to commune and bridge a lot of gaps within self so that we can do a whole lot of work outside of ourselves. Till then, have a great night.